What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 17 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Khatep Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, the DJ arrived on Albion and has taken out the defending Van Heimlings at the Isle of Wights and is poised to attack Be'lakor this very turn. In addition to that, in a forced sally out of Karand-Kar, King Raprafas and the Asaf ranged army have taken out the forces of, well, Karand-Kar, leaving only Shikara 1, as Shikara 2 lies dead on the field of battle to attempt to take something back, because she's down to 1 or 0, actually, or rather, settlements. Should be good there, and how many of the Sisters of Twilight will destroy her for us? I guess we'll have to see. In addition to that, we were able to recruit King Alamizash, the Ushabti king, who will have some pretty darn strong Ushabti to offer as we head southward and see what they can do. They're not going to be crazy effective against the big ol' lizards, I think, but we can simply, I think, snipe the big ol' lizards with the Ushabti with Great Bow and leave the regular Ushabti to deal with all of the skinks and the Saurus. But anyway, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Now, before we get started, a bit of bad news. Unfortunately, this will be the last episode of this campaign on the main channel. The campaign will, of course, continue, as we do still have stuff to do, but we will be moving it to the Shadow channel, the second channel, and it will be banished there. For those not familiar with it, I'll leave a link down to it down below. Ruinous Archive is the name. Anyway, the first thing that we have to do, I mean, I guess we could straight up attack Be'lakor. I mean, if we're doing things in order, I did do, as promised, the building between the episodes, so we're free to make the attack here. And go for Morkar. And let's see how we do against Be'lakor. Now, the garrison in Konquata is going to be pretty darn elite. We've got lots of Chaos Warriors in here. We got some Chaos Knights, lots of Trolls. Lots of stuff, essentially, that is low entities and is not going to be an easy thing for the caskets to do damage. And of course, Khatep's army has been 18 out of 20 units for as long as I can remember. Plus, there is Be'lakor. Before we had the Sword of Cain, last time Khatep fought him, and now no longer, so we'll have to deal with him without. And he's a pretty solid fighter, but we'll see if he can stand against the Sphinx of Usak, which has, well, killed him before. Well, let's get to it. To the Soul Realm, huh? I imagine we have heard that one, but we don't hear that one nearly as much as Sacrifice them. Anyway, here we go. The enemy has a little army deployed, and we're going to have to try to make sure that we destroy it here and before more units arrive on the field, as I do imagine this will be a pretty darn tough fight. We've softened up the enemy targets as we do with our artillery, and then everything that's fast moving here will charge forth. The Sphinx of Usak will head towards the enemy lord and rip it apart with those arm blades, while the poor little Nurglings and whatever else are overrun by the cavalry. There we go. Nice charge from our Venom Knights and our units of Nehekara horses. Alright, over on the right flank, it looks like the enemy Chaos Spawn get completely surrounded by the Venom Knights and the Eyes of the Desert, and pretty much destroyed. The enemy Lord has fallen, by the looks of it, to the Sphinx of Usak, and now it's just a matter of taking out the Beasts of Nurgle and the remaining Nurglings, or at the very least watching them melt away, as I believe this army is done and its demons are going. Alright, there we go. The little army is done for, and we've done our warm-up. Now it's time for the real show. Looks like Be'lakor has moved on to the field. He's got 15k HP. Even the Sphinx of Usak may struggle with that amount, but we shall see. I think one unfortunate aspect of the fact that Khatep is on the casket is that normally he would have been able to just charge forth on his horse and then cast his sandstorm and his skullstorm on the enemy and then charge back and then probably even get them going again before the main stack arrived. But on his casket he's so slow that it's basically impossible to cast the sandstorm at range, which is a bit unfortunate. Obviously he is much more powerful in terms of his artillery capabilities, but I'm still not entirely sure which is actually the superior move, because he's a strong caster, especially with that bound sandstorm of his. But anyway, Be'lakor continues moving forward. We are not actually firing the caskets at him, obviously. We are firing the Screaming Skulls at him, as well as dropping the occasional Spirit Leech. Gotta do as much damage to him as possible. Not crazy amounts so far, but not to worry. And the Sphinx of Usak is out here, waiting for Be'lakor to move in. Once again, the Sphinx may as well be a legendary lord. Alright, it looks like Be'lakor will move, and he will be brave enough to face the Sphinx, who is significantly taller, incidentally. Gonna hit Be'lakor with another Spirit Leech, and the two will begin a very, very long duel. I'd wager. Enemy also moves a Chaos Sorcerer forward, together with an Exalted Hero of Khorne. We're gonna surround them with Tomb Guard, Kepra Guard, and the Spokal Stalkers, while some trolls move in to reinforce. Do have to be careful, however, as that is a lot of enemies. The Sphinx is also dropped by about 30% HP, but we do still have healing available via our Necrotech. On the left flank, Chaos Knights and Marauder Horsemen of Nurgle are facing off against our unit of regular Necropolis Knights, together with the Storm Riders of Xar. And I think it's going about even. We are poisoned, they're poisoned, our units of Storm Riders are fragile. But the Venom Knights can do fairly well against the Chaos Knights. Damn, once again, those Chaos Knights are huge, even if the height of the Necro Serpents does allow the tiny little Tomb Guard to sort of be over the enemy's heads. Anyway, that flank battle will be going on for a while, but we will peel away these Storm Riders. Look pretty freaking cool when they're riding around like that at max speed. And Be'lakor is down to about 30% of his HP after this duel, and the Sphinx remains at about half, though it has got a heal, or gotten a heal at this time. That said, it's not like Be'lakor was willing to engage in a pure duel, so it's only fair. Out here, more Chaos Knights, just looking absolutely monstrous compared to the size of the poor little Tomb Guard. And Be'lakor is very nearly done. That was a cool shot of those Chaos Knights. Alright, a couple more hits from the Sphinx, and there we go. It does look like Be'lakor will at last begin melting away. It's taken quite a lot of effort to get him there, Slaneshi giggle. And there we go, at last, Be'lakor will drop. Probably upset about it, but, well, what's he gonna do? He is about to be banished from the world, together with his faction, assuming that we can win the rest of this fight. The bounce power is in our favor, but despite what the balance of power says, this is not looking all that great right now. The right flank with the two units of Tomb Guard, the Sons of Horus, and the Iron Sand Striders are looking like they're about to be overrun. The enemy has also moved its Chaos War Shrine out of the line and is sending it towards Khatep. I don't know whether this is a good move or a bad move, because on the one hand it is no longer buffing its main line, but on the other hand it will stop Khatep from firing, at least for now. Huh, almost look like a breath attack. Interesting. Oh, I think that's the melee attack of the casket. Interesting. Anyway, ooh, look at the Sphinx, down to about 15% of its HP, and has reached his healing cap as well, but it has to keep fighting. There's still a lot of enemies to take care of. Alright, and the Kepra Guard, together with those Eyes of the Desert, are still holding out those Chaos Knights, Trolls, and Chaos Warriors. and doing so admirably. Looks like our right flank was in a lot of trouble, so we activated the Skull Storm right in the middle of the enemy. It does clip our own units quite a bit and heavily damage them, and they begin to crumble away. The Sons of Horus may not be long for this world. We're going to try to back them away closer to Khatep and keep the heals up. And the balance of power remains in our favor, but most, if not all, of our units are down to the dregs of their HP, and the enemy still has a lot of heavily armored troops still willing to fight, which is quite nice. We're going to be a very, very close fight. Heals have gotten the Sphinx, however, back up to about 30%, and as long as the Sphinx holds, I don't think Khatep will fall. Alrighty, attempting to go after that darn War Shrine now. At the very least, have gotten it or managed to get it away from Khatep. Trying to chase off those Chaos Knights with the Venom Knights of Asaph. We also have to try to destroy as much of the enemy army as possible. It does look like the Chaos Warriors have actually reached through our lines and moved towards our artillery piece. And the crew will most likely be overrun. But we're still holding, if just barely so. Alrighty, and those darn enemy units are rallying, but the balance power is at about 90% in our favor. Now we can see that the enemy are wavering. We're going to get one more charge into the flanks of the enemy with the Venom Knights of Asaph sending Chaos Warriors flying, and it looks like the enemy army will shatter, and the battle will be ours. A very close one. I don't think any of our units are melting away, so we should have at least a decent opportunity to chase. Never got to activate that third Realm of Souls, but we simply don't have enough infantry to do so in this particular army. Them's the breaks, I suppose. We just don't have enough armies to be able to easily activate this thing, in the sense that it would probably be easier to do so if we could have every army with a follower army of just basic skeletons to, you know, send at the enemy. But oh well, not a big deal. Anyway, plenty of chasing to do here, and hopefully we should be able to do enough of it to make sure that we don't have to fight Be'lakor's faction again, and we'll just be able to auto-resolve it to death. Ooh, alrighty. Very nice fight. That one was definitely down to the wire, and I'm glad that we finally got a proper challenging battle. For Khatep, it definitely came close to losing the Sphinx of Usak, but at the same time it delivered the win for us, fighting Be'lakor, and all while one of the enemy lords was attacking it as well, plus being in the middle of the line, and tanking quite a lot of damage. Tons of damage in the Venom Knights of Asaph at 80k. Pretty darn massive, and I'd say decent work out of our caskets. Could have been more, but this wasn't really the type of army that was ideal for that sort of unit. Screaming Skull Catapult admittedly didn't do all that much, but the leadership reduction of it is valuable in and of itself, so there's still good reason, I think, to keep at least one, maybe two of them around. The units of, damn, 63 kills, but 17k damage on the Sons of Horus. And good job to them, and to the Khatep Guard as well at 19k, and 22k on the Kepra Guard as well. So great job to them. 23k on the Storm Riders. Everybody did well. Very high damage numbers on pretty much everything in our army. Now we're gonna have to bind souls because we'll have to auto resolve, and I'm hoping that the auto resolve won't kill off our army. So bind souls like so. Mission successful, there we go. Heralds of Ariel, mission successful. Ooh, and another Forbidden Rod. Also nice. And a little bit of Canopic Jars needed, because we're about to have less than 100 next turn. Anyway. Let's double check here. Yes, we can now exactly avoid the War Dancers. Perfect. Alright, so what I would like you to do, Rehobi. I mean, assuming that Romarinov can take Shagrath, we could probably send Rehobi out to either the Silver Tower of Sorcerers or to the Fortress of the Damned. Kind of unclear as to which one, though. Or we could just sit here for 2 turns. I mean, I guess since we can move already, we should probably move to the edge of our movement range. Like so. And then recruit the War Dancers with Azrai Spears yet again. Ooh, also that reminds me, wait. Where are the Azrai Spears? Right here. One more turn until the Usirian's Legion is back up and running, so we'll get rid of one of these Tomb Guard with halberds, got a Nehekara Warrior, and Azrai War Dancer, this entire army up. Remaranefa. Okay, wait, let's get back to Khatep, I got excited. Let's see, Khatep, can you now auto-resolve the remnants of Konquata? Looks like you can. Auto-resolve. A little bit of damage on the Sphinx, but nice, and ooh, I'm tempted to sack it, but this is a place we're actually keeping, so occupy. Spell Shield, Storm of Necromancy, and the Shadow Legion has been destroyed. Now, we pretty much have to build up the garrison here, we have no choice in the matter, and then the same thing goes for the Ohm Stones, and it's going to take a while for those to grow. We probably want any kind of additional sort of defensive structures that we could get, like the Nehekara Citadel. This won't help. I mean, the Ushabti building isn't bad, but it provides a Ushabti and a Ushabti with great bow. At tier 4, the Royal Menagerie also provides us 4 Necropolis Knights, or 2 Necropolis Knights rather, which ain't too bad. However, taking a look at what we have here, we kind of like proper melee, which to me says maybe the Ushabti building is the easier way to go. This will take 5 and 7 turns, and how many here? We have 2 and 4 and 5. Basically the same amount. 11 turns versus 12 turns. This would go faster. Would it cost more? Sort of. Let's see. Attrition, leadership, -2 in laying siege or encircling. What does this do? Leadership -2 in laying siege and nurse. That's basically the exact same thing. Alright. I'm still inclined to go Ushabti Great Bow. Although, I suppose the Sepulchral Stalkers could sally out and annoy enemies. This gives us Sepulchral Stalkers and Ushabti the Great Bow as well, does it not? 2 Ushabti, 2 Sepulchral Stalkers, 2 Necropolis Knights, which is the stuff that we were thinking of building. Or we could just go Growth. Or we could just go Growth to try to get it to tier 4 as fast as possible. You know what, we are going to garrison the place with an army, so let's go Growth for now, all that deliberation for nothing. And we'll hold off, and then we'll see. Actually, you know what, I lied. Public Order. And the public order is going to be necessary because we'll try to build the other stuff faster. Now the Ohm Stones will give us research and control, so it actually should fix the control quite nicely as soon as it's built up, so there is that to consider. King Anwar. So last time your ambush did not get foiled, and we are potentially able to hit Ikit Claw here, though the question is, will he actually try to fight us? We will find out by, well, moving you last. Let's move everybody else first. Ramaranef. You should have no problem taking Shagrath. We can't sack it, unfortunately, but we'll just occupy it for the Canopic Jars, so not too bad of a thing anyway. Auto-resolve. Damage to the various green skulls, but they're used to it at this point. Alright, enemy killed in battle, Obsidian Amulet, Audacious, Headsman, Storm and Necromancy yet again. And you're still leveling. Alright, so we have the Sun-Scorched Bones on you. We are starting to be able to move towards 5th generation Priest for more research rate. And I'm inclined to say, while I would like buffs for the Krokagar Legion via the Arrows of Asaph, wait, you know what? Yeah, these things aren't particularly high level, and while it would be nice to get some stuff like the Blessing of the Asp, we wouldn't be able to benefit from it right now anyway. Could get another point in Skullstorm since we spam it just constantly, though. You know, let's get one more point in Skullstorm, but then start moving through 5th generation Priest. I know it's not a lot of research, but every single one of these that gets us an additional 8 research is still going to be very useful. Yeah, let's level you 2 as well, just in case we find a Siggy. Definitely we want Air Command Persevere for the additional melee defense, as the green skulls are meant to hold the line. Like so. Could use that little bit of extra defense because their stats are pretty sad. 28, 34, 40. Anyway, oh, you had another point available to you, did you, buddy? This army is actually decently likely to potentially get attacked, so we could actually get decent mileage out of Esteemed Combatant. And the addition and the bonuses you get out of it. You, Necrotech, can go through Master Builder, and then we'll get another, probably Hyro Titan capacity. I'm just preparing for when we can build them up. Anyway, Anwar will move in a bit. King Raprafas. Oh, I guess we can move you now. We do have a Wulfrik to fight after all, and because of the foolish march stance of this particular army, and we should be able to knock him out. That said, it's not really a concerning army. On the other hand, shouldn't really underestimate how many? 2 mammoths? Plus Wulfrik, I don't know if he's on a mammoth, judging by his HP he's not, but he does have Sea Fang, which could do a lot of damage. The mammoth's obviously frightening, and never underestimate those Marauder Hunters with javelins, as I'm sure anybody watching the Wulfrik campaign can attest. Go. Alrighty, here we go. Now, there's something we haven't done a lot with this army, but it is a very nice, distinct capability that can make it extremely threatening. And that is the fact that, similar to Bel Herathoi, for those watching the Imrik campaign at the same time, she can deploy her, well, entire army as a Vanguard, or Vanguard deploy her entire army. And while we can't do that with the entirety of our army here, nice shot from that bone giant, we can do so with about half of the force, the Spokal Stalkers and the Deepwood Scouts together. And those 2 units are pretty nasty at dishing out plenty of damage, shotgun shots and their dual arrows alike. And I don't imagine these poor berserkers are going to survive it, despite the fact that they have weathered the storm and a lot of missile resistance. Just not enough missile resistance in the world. Anyway, looks like the unit of Hounds is destroyed and the 2 units of Berserkers are in pretty bad shape. One already attempting to book it on out of there, and the second one to follow suit shortly, I'd wager as well. Alrighty, and oh, would you look at that? The Marauder Pathfinder has killed off 2 Sepulchral Stalkers with his javelin chucking. Kind of impressive. Looks like he can do fairly decent damage against monstrous infantry like that. I like it. I like it a lot. I'm excited to see more from the same Lord type in the Wulfrik campaign. Anyway, we're going to have to punish him for that, as all of the units will fire at him at the same time and bring him down. Lovely. And the battle is begun, but the main force is Wulfrik's reinforcements, but we can essentially do the same thing to it as we did to the army waiting outside. Here comes Wulfrik into those shotgun blasts and swift shivers. He'll take about half of his HP, but will be able to close the distance with us. The enemy will, however, also cast a spell, an Overcast Gehenna's Golden Hound, moving through the line of Swift Shiver Shards, pretty much destroying the unit altogether. That said, Wulfrik is just about done, and trading a Wulfrik for a single unit of Elves, I think, is probably a pretty solid trade. Alright, and even as Wulfrik falls, so does his army. Well, have a pretty darn bad day. The Swift Shiver Shards continue to come down, and the shotgun shots move through the massive line, or blob, I should say, of enemy units. Skullstorm has also divided the enemy army, allowing us to essentially shotgun and shard the sort of leading portion of it, while the other army, the other portion of the army, was unable to move forward. And that is definitely another decent use of the Vortex to do a little bit of area denial when capable, like this. Anyway, enemy army is still attempting to move towards us. They did get a mammoth going, however. My lord, mammoths are huge. They even make the Khemrian War Sphinxes look small. But I suppose the question is whether how effective it'll be against the Tomb King. And of course there is the fact that we got anti-large on our Spokal Stalkers, and though the enemy continues to surge forward, the rest of our army is moving forward as well. Skull's about to scream overhead, get a little bit of that leadership reduction application on the enemy blob. And the enemy has essentially been corralled into a blob as well. Found that darn shaman sorcerer, who's about to get ripped apart by our Spokal Stalkers. Can't be having him cast that Gehenna's Golden Hands or Searing Doom on us yet again, as they just do too much damage. By the looks of it, with this Skull Storm, the enemy army will be destroyed. An absolutely brutal brawl will signal the end of this battle, and the battle is ours. Ooh, alright. That was pretty darn fun, and pretty darn effective, I should say. Wulfrik got absolutely demolished that time around. Ooh, alright, the Darren Sorcerer nearly managed to kill off one of our units of Deepwood Scouts, but it was effectively the only unit that the enemy was able to damage. That was a very nasty sort of pseudo-ambush by the Legion of the Asp here under King Ruprafaz, and once again, those Spokal Stalkers absolutely cleaning house, and significant damage out of the Deepwood Scouts as well. Not quite on par with the Stalkers, perhaps, but, well, these guys aren't buffed. And our units most definitely are. Got no mileage out of the Skeleton Archers here, but, well, with the Vanguard deployment with these guys, it kind of makes sense. Almost makes me feel like we'd be better off just replacing all the Skeleton Archers with the Spokal Stalkers, but no, they're here for, you know, A, to activate the Realm of Souls, and B, for a little bit of good old-fashioned variety. Bind Souls. Bind Souls, Wulfrik will move away, but he probably can't move far enough away to escape us. Ally mission successful, enemy killed in battle. And Blood Feeder gives us additional campaign movement range, which is nice, though we don't really care about the Potion of Foolhardiness. Kill off Welch Darkmane. Can we reach Shakara from here, I wonder? I'll resolve this, and this time take the Harvest Organs. Alright, now we can't reach Shakara. Alright, we can reach Capitano Sissoko, but there isn't really much need for it right now. I'm very tempted to send you out here to, you know, sit in Konquata. Especially since we're going to trade away Kara and Kar. Oh, we should actually build up a structure or two here. You know what, go back here. Are you going to reduce the... Yes, construction cost. Good. Start on the Skeletal Garrison. And 6 turns, going to be a while. And I guess go for... It doesn't really matter. Quicksand Swamp, Open Graves. Like so. Also, you just reached rank 10, meaning we can get Keeper of Lore for that research rate, as well as... do we go for the Incantation of Preservation for the Lord Recruit rank? I wish I had done this before we got the Ushapti guy on the field. Or do we go for Disciple of Assyrian for those Skeletal Summons? I'm going to say Skeletal Summons. Still too useful a thing not to have. You're also a Lich Priest, but you didn't level, unfortunately. Enemy Hero Success chance. Alright, we have the other... Oh, right, that's going to... The Armor of Destiny and the Talisman of Preservation is going to another Lord. We don't really need the Scrolls of Leeching because I don't care for them. So let's fuse them into hopefully something a little bit more useful. Giant Blade. Same thing. Oh, we don't have a second Potion of Foolhardiness. What about our garbage common items? More Glittering Scales, but yeah, once again, we don't have a lot of items and probably won't until we can get deep into the sort of Mortuary Cult weapon building. But we can't spare a square... I mean, the Canopic Jars right now. Anyway, let's see what else we gotta do. Anwar, you're going to move last. King Entef, you are continuing to shadow Valkia, so keep moving this way, see what she does. She's at war with all these guys, but she's not really reacting. I'm not entirely sure, but she might be in a deadlock, a sort of standoff with these guys. We'll see. King Araru, you will be recruiting, whereas King Lamazash will be moving southward. And we'll hopefully be getting some necrotechs shortly. Southward ye shall go. There's no necrotechs to be gotten here as yet, but shortly. Alrighty, next, you can sit here. What, if anything, do we want to recruit with you right now? Frankly, at rank 7, we could get a better king. We could even... While we're currently using you to recruit, because you have a 10 main part. If we deleted you, we could get one of these guys on the field. Khatep, and then that's Sphinxes, which doesn't really help. Walk-off of the First Dynasty does give us a range buff, so we could do a recruitment sort of thing. Oh, actually we can't. A moment, wait. Currently we raise lords at rank 13. It would be nice to raise them at rank 15. But I don't think we have any new up-and-coming mages. Yeah, not enough. Lich Priests, I mean. That started rank 10, yeah, we don't have them. Yeah, so here's the reason. If we replace him, then the new lord will be at rank 1, which we shouldn't do. We shouldn't replace, we should delete. And then not have you recruit this turn, meaning we'll ignore the Necrotect capacity and we'll get one of these. We will eventually want Khatep, although I do like the construction time. I could even use this in a few places to speed matters up quite a bit. We could even use him as a builder lord for a while. You know what? I kind of like this. Just until we get capacity for Sphinxes and Necrosphinxes and all that crazy stuff.
Arise, legions.
I guess the only question is, do we maybe want to send Arara down here to build some tomb barks for somebody? But we could build them elsewhere. Araprafas or King Anwar could build them just out of another place that has harbors. Oh, Portalo Harbor doesn't actually give you the ability to recruit them, sadly. And no capacity either. I think I remembered that it had no capacity from another episode, but not that it didn't allow you to recruit them. But anyway, we'll deal with it. We've no money remaining. And thus, well, let's see if Icket is willing to fight us here. Necrotect, you're rank 16. Was there a reason why I didn't get you a point applied? Get you Loving Creator. Technically speaking, yeah, just go for Loving Creator. Technically speaking, this Necrotect isn't supposed to be in this army. But we'll deal with it. Ooh, I guess we can build the Tomb Barks out of the level 1, right? No, you need to be level 3. Bloody damn. We get some of the builder guy here at Port Elistor, or delete this guy temporarily. Yeah, you know what? I think we'll do that. We're going to let you go, sir. Temporarily summon one. Oh, do they need to be rank 15 as well? Wait. I just want to see something. King Entef, wait. We have 2 Lich Priests. Lich High Priest King. Not Rehobi, but Ramaran. Ah, damn, they're both high enough level. I was wondering what level this unlocked, whether it was 12 or 15. Because then we could just get a summon guy and then... Well, I guess we're about to find out. Just get any one of them and then delete them after. Any one of these any good? Venerated Priest? No, not really. They're all kind of trash. Spell resistance for constructs? Who cares? It's spell resistance. They're pretty much never getting hit by spells, and even if they are, the spells aren't doing them a lot of damage. And leadership also kind of meh for them. Yeah, these guys are all kind of mad, but it's not. But we're gonna use you temporarily. So you have no ancillaries. So frankly, you should have had the Charnel Valley Necrotect anyway. We'll get one of you guys. Let's say, well, let's do you because, well, actually no, that's still useless. Guardian in armor. Let's go for you, Venerated Priest. Actually, the fire resistance. Well, when are you gonna be fighting fiery units? Banner of Eternal Flame does make him hit harder, though. I guess. Let's do you, Venerated Priest. So, is this rank 12? No, it's rank... Yeah, it's rank 12, not 15. Beautiful. So we'll do this, and then immediately get you a 5th Gen Priest. Then we'll pop into Root March. Wait, this gives us 3 Canopic Jars per turn. This gives us 3. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Why did I recruit you here? I just got excited about doing that. Damn it, alright, well, at least we know now. So disband, and we'll get the new... Oh, do these guys cost anything to raise? They don't, right? Alright, no, so we're fine. So we'll do this. Disband you here. Temporarily. Temporary-ish. But then again, we wouldn't have anywhere to send that Tomb Scorpion, but I want those Tomb Barks. Alright, fine. Disband. Oh, I want to see something, though. Research is at 331. Can we speed up the research by getting one of these every turn and disbanding them? 331. Off field. Move somebody slightly. Anybody? Like you. And I know it's still 3-3-1, so we could speed it up by just constantly getting these guys. But anyway, get another one. Ancient Wisdom or Scorched by the Desert, you. In here, you're going to recruit 2 Tomb Barks. They're going to take 4 turns, which is insanity, but you're just going to transfer them over to this army. Okay, where are we here? I'm still on the fence. I mean, we could also just completely replace the Tomb Guard here. It's just that we already have some Scorched Bones and not Master Charioteers, which is what would buff these things. Plus, we'd have way more of these with the Chariot army, which is coming, but, you know, in a bit. I think just the 2 for now. We could build 4 and... Nah, but then we'd have to delete... Yeah, we're not going to use you to ferry them. Let's go Root Marcher, Evasion, 1, 2, 3. Definitely 5th Gen Priest, and Loyal Servant of Tahoth, and then Canopic Jar Hoarder. Alright, nice. Nothing to reduce the construction costs of here. Nonetheless, while you're here for 4 turns, we can give you the Charnel Valley Necrotect. And does Cultist of Assyrian do anything for us? No. Charnel Valley Necrotect, whose is free? Doesn't need this. Nactom Hat. No, you're kind of in a... not you. Darude Sandstorm? No, you're with Khatep. I don't know who Rahoshan is. Ropaphos? No, he's kind of conquering stuff. Who's Intef? Damn it. I don't remember who's who. Anwar the Falconer doesn't need this, but neither do you in theory. I'll just take it from Romarina for now. I think that was the only one, right? The only one that's helpful with building. Oh, Skeletal Laborer. I lied. Let's do you as well. And we'll lose them when we replace them with the construction time reducer guy. Alright, that now looks good. Okay, and we are now at 339. Good. Still doesn't take these down to 1, but, well, slowly but surely getting there. And these are down to 3 now, and there is a public order one here, plus more recruit rank for Lich Priests, which would allow us to continue spamming that. But anyway, for now, let's see if this works. King Anwar. Head to Ikit. Now, Ikit himself will have... Oh, he will fight. Beautiful. He will have his nuke, and he will have Howling Warp Gale, which means the Flyers are going to be in danger, and the nuke will most likely wipe out at least 1 unit of Tomb Guard. The AI also has very much a willingness to drop nukes on its own units, so we'll have to watch out for that. But nonetheless, no choice in the matter. Go. Alrighty, for Nehekara indeed. Let's see if we can pull this off. The enemy has Howling Warp Gale, a very, very threatening spell when your army is based on flyers. Anyway, the battle will start off with our Scorpion Vanguard deployed behind the enemy army to move right in there and well, hopefully stop those death dealers from firing their rattling guns. Looks like the Howling Warp Gale will come down on the Great Eagles, but only trap 2 as we have separated our birds all over the map. So these guys are trapped, but all the carrion are able to now come down, and so are the other eagles as well. Ikit has been caught by our lord and pretty much our entire command squad. I don't expect the chariots will do too much here, but on the other hand, he's on his Doomflare. And is probably not going to be particularly threatening either, having already dropped down to about 40% of his HP. The Eagles have come down, especially on those Warplock Jezzails who are unable to fire, just like the enemy rattling guns are not. The Tomb Scorpion, together with the Carrion now, continuing to distract the enemy, though not a particularly effective sort of use of our Carrion. Ikit explodes as we do bring him down. And by the looks of it, we're doing pretty good. Still no nuke drop, however, which always makes me nervous. Where is that nuke coming in? Well, it looks like our units of Tomb Guard have at last arrived. They were very, very slowly making their way towards the enemy, but it's not like we could leave the enemy to fire their Jezzails and whatnot, so we had to send the birds in first. Birds are causing absolute havoc on the enemy army. Though it does look like the enemy units of Plague Priests, or Plague Monks rather, We'll still allow them to hold fairly decently. Not for too long, however, as it looks like the Night Runners and whatnot are breaking, and finally the enemy decides to drop that nuke. 2 units of Tomb Guard are below it. There we go, and the units of Tomb Guard together, well, I think one of the units of Tomb Guard, together with the Plague Priests, get absolutely instantly deleted. I suppose the Plague Priests could have held a little bit longer, but, well, at the end of the day, I also suppose that they weren't doing much anyway. Alrighty, now just a matter of taking out the last of those rats, but, well, they are of no threat whatsoever to eagles. These may not be Arathon's eagles, so they're not going to be nearly as powerful, but they do seem to be working fairly well in this army in combination with those carrion. And hopefully soon with a couple of tomb barks as well for a little bit of air support, and with a little bit of ward save to buff everybody up. Anyway, there we go. Battle's hour is a fairly short one, though unfortunately we will have to get the lost units back into the army. Darn nukes. Alrighty, well, one of our Tomb Guard units got wiped out, but that's, I guess, just sort of par for the course when you're fighting Ikit with a nuke. Really not much we can do about that sort of thing. And I'm at least glad that it was only the one, because, I mean, when you're dealing with the nukes, it could have been a lot worse. Now, we are a little bit damaged. I would, however, think that we're not so damaged that we shouldn't be able to auto-resolve the remnants of these forces, though I'm hopeful that the carrion won't die to an auto-resolve, I guess. We're going to have to see. Pop that Endless March and the additional movement range. Oh, I didn't realize. Sloppy Crookshank is also here. And while we can reach Ikit, or the remnants of his army, we probably will then immediately get attacked by Sloppy next turn. Though I suppose if we can auto-resolve this... Okay, wait. We got the research in the armor. This is what we wanted. Like so. And it will indeed kill off one of the carrion. I mean, that's fair. You know what? They still have another nuke available to them, so the fact that it'll kill off a carrion is fair. And we could play it and attempt to avoid it, but I kind of don't feel like it. I wonder how much badly damaged we're going to get. Will we survive Sloppy? Yeah, okay, it's just one unit of carrion. We'll have to just get it back next turn. That's fine. And then we'll just bind souls and heal up. Now, I'm assuming that, yeah, we can't enter any kind of stance and we don't heal at sea. 100% chance that Sloppy Crookshanks attacks us next turn, but I'm sure that King Anwar is more than capable of dealing with him. Now, we did get a little bit of money, but I don't believe we need to spend it. I think we can freely end the turn, though we won't have time, I think, this episode to fight Sloppy Crookshank. I would like to nonetheless end the turn in case he doesn't attack us, in which case we'll be able to... let me just see here. Or I'll be able to do the admin between the episodes, at least the building admin. There is a lot of it with the Tomb Kings, after all. Anyway, you don't need Ancient Stone, you don't need Blessing of the Asp, you... could move through a 10 maybe, but I think it's time to finally start building you out to be a fighter. Let's get you ceremonial bandages, 15% anti-missile. Missile resistance is pretty solid. You don't need mortuary cultists, so the ambush chance was something we were using, to be fair. Nonetheless, I think we'll go for magical reserves here. And then you, sir. We do use Fate of Buna and Spirit Leech quite a bit. In fact, I'm still going to put another point into Spirit Leech. It's just too useful of a spell. And what about you? I don't know what kind of... I mean, eventually you'll probably be in an army with actual units. Well, with actual units, you know what I mean. Let's get you Trapped Soul for now. And probably Ceremonial Bandages after. In an army with units with... constructs. It's just that this is not that army. Anyway, we'll end the turn. If Sloppy Crookshanks attacks us, we'll end the episode, and if it doesn't, we'll also end the episode, but at least be able to do the admin work. Alright, Ikit now wants peace. Is there any real reason to peace out with him? I think we want to just return most of this territory to... return most of this territory to King Lewin so he can watch it himself, slash just, you know, continue being one of our borders. And oh wow, look at that. Danny boy is all the way down here. Good for him, I suppose. Alright, moment of truth. 99.9% sure Crookshank will attack, as they always do. Yeah, they're gonna do it. Kill off 2 Carrion. I mean, we just fought the Skaven battle, and this is effectively a weaker army. Do we save this battle, or do we just auto-resolve it? Do we need to see effectively the same battle again, except without a nuke and weaker enemy units? More range, but they'll just get bombarded by birds, and the Carrion can be replaced in a single turn. You know what, I think it's not worth fighting. I think I'd rather save a little bit of screen time and get us to better battles and try to get us better better units as soon as possible. Plus, with the auto-resolve we don't have to chase this guy down, and this march will give us plenty of money for our trouble. Alright. Alright, there we go. Constructor, and we got a fair bit of money to spend, which I will spend, and Khatep is available as well, which I will spend between the episodes. We'll get the Tomb Guard and the Carrion back. It'll take 3 turns to get the Tomb Guard. I'm not so sure about that, but the Carrion will only take the 1, and I guess we can build something else out of the global recruitment afterwards. Anyway, oh! We'll do you. Until they die again. Perfect. That actually works out. They're probably going to actually be more useful to provide poison to the main line. Anyway, folks, with that, we're out of time. I'm going to call the episode here. Remember that the campaign is being moved to the 2nd channel, so if you're interested in watching it to the late game, do head on over there for the next episode. Next time, we complete taking of Albion and start sailing down to Illustria and the Lizards. And hopefully before these College of Pyromaniacs attacks us, though I'd love to fight them. As I recall, they are a fairly annoying army. King Lamazash is nearby, so that's certainly an option for us. Anyway, more Khatep to come, and don't forget to leave those likes and comments below. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.